4:30 in the morning.
Too early. But we have a big day ahead of us because we are on our way to Atikokan, Ontario for a black bear hunt. My first black bear. What am I going to expect?
Well, you're going to expect more blacks than reds. There's a few red bears there, but the percentages of colored face vary very good, but there's lots of blacks. Over the last 20 years, we've taken a lot of good black bears. So I think you'll have a good time.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
All right, 850 miles to go. Let's hit it.
Let's go.
ScentBlocker Most Wanted is brought to you by Mossy Oak. It's not a passion, it's an obsession. ScentBlocker. Nothing gets you closer. Ford and your quality Ford dealers. Browning. The best there is. Cuddyback. Designed in the USA with quarter-second trigger speed. And Tree Spider. The new world of tree stand safety.
We're road tripping this week, up to the Great White North with Canoe Canada Outfitters. And this time, I get to go along for my first ever black bear hunt. We got the whole crew going. The two Bobs, that's our own Bob, and Colonel Bob Wilson from Ford, headed up a few days early to get in some practice for the Atikokan Bass Classic.
Bear pictures since last night?
I don't know. We just come with. We haven't been here. We just drive back. So we pulled the cart out.
Oh my!
That's at least.
Is that the one that?
That's at least the third different one before dark last night.
So find the midline, down from the midline, right? Isn't that what you said, Bob? Down from the midline, and just back from the.
Yeah, you want to shoot lower than the middle of the bear, just a little bit.
Okay.
What do you think of the bear pics?
Yeah, because you can't make them all.
It makes me almost nervous at the same time.
They'll come in a lot of times and just lay down and eat, and you got to totally just wait until they get up and give you a shot.
Since this was my first bear hunt, I was determined to learn as much as I could. And who better to learn from than Bob and Larry? But there was a lot of work to do before anyone was getting in a tree stand. While the Bobs were fishing the tournament, the rest of us got to work getting the bait sites ready, including setting up our cuddybacks and tree stands.
Hey Lauren, one of the things you look for when you come to these bear sites is obviously are they hitting the baits. And one of the best signs, like any kind of animal around, is finding scat. You see these little yellow things in there? You know what that is?
Nope.
That's bear too. You don't ever want to forget that. This is a typical Canadian bear baiting site. They've got about 300 or more sites that they've been baiting for up to 30 years. And they almost become like family heirlooms to bears, that they know these sites are there and they come back year after year to check and see if they've been hit. If you didn't bait bears and this kind of stuff, you'd never see one have a chance to harvest them. You know, bears in Ontario, their numbers at an all-time high. So it's very important to keep their numbers in check just like any other wildlife. And plus, black bears are the #2 most sought after big game animal in North America behind white-tailed deer. That's more than elk and mule deer and buffalo and goats and sheep combined. So it's really a big hunting resource in North America.
Bear Hunting 101 with Professor Woodward will resume right after the break. There's always something new on our Facebook page. Give us a like at facebook.com/ScentBlocker Most Wanted.
ScentBlocker Most Wanted is brought to you by Matthews Solo Cam, catch us if you can, and Rage, leading the evolution in lethal technology.
Hey, this week we're hunting black bears in Ontario with Canoe Canada Outfitters. Before we start hunting, we gotta set up our bait sites. And while I'm learning as much as I can about bear hunting from Larry, Bob's fishing the Atikokan Bass Classic.
Cuddyback makes a bear box. We have a lot of problems with bears tearing the cameras off the trees. They usually don't damage the camera, they just get it off the tree where you quit getting pictures, of course.
Looks like they're also Larry proof.
It's like running a trap line or something. Each day you go and pull these things, look at them, you never know what you're going to have. And up here, you know, you get from ground squirrels to timber wolves. You never know what you're going to get at one of these bait sites. It's a lot of fun.
There's a bear.
The next job was to set up my blind. I was so excited. This was just downhill from a stand where Bob shot 2 of the biggest black bears any of us had seen. Now, I'm not saying one of those 500-pound Goliaths is gonna walk by my stand, but I wouldn't mind if they did. With everything set for opening day, all that was left was to check my jewel and hit the woods.
So, we just got dropped off. We are rocking our orange because the law dictates that we wear orange to and from the bear stand. So, we're heading out.
Is it hot?
For our first night. Yeah, it's really hot and I don't want to sweat to death walking to the stand. So I'm rocking me some basketball shorts and I'll put my clothes on when I get there.
We hadn't been in the blind very long when we saw this bear, hanging right at the edge of the trees. For a second, I thought the hunt was going to be over the first night. But he didn't like something and snuck right back into the woods.
ScentBlocker Most Wanted is brought to you by the Whitetail Institute of North America. Deer nutrition is all we do. And S4 Gear, meeting the demands of nature and those who tame it.
It's late August in southern Ontario and the bears are getting curious. This was definitely a shooter. He was even close enough for a shot. It seemed like hours went by as he sat there just to our left. Even after he got closer, I never had a shot. There was always something in the way.
Well, your first bear encounter, and that was a big old mature bear. That's one that we've had pictures of for 3 days in a row here, about the same time, 7:30.
He was close enough right here when he was off the corner, but he was laying down, or I just never had a shot.
Well, that was frustrating for sure, but I was glad we had bears moving. After another day of fishing the tournament, Bob and I were back in the blind. It's hard not to stink up the woods when it's in the 80s. I think we went through like a gallon of TI4.
Holy smoke. He was sniffing. He did not smell it. But I know you're not going to be real picky, but I think we can kill a bigger bear than that. Wow. We go from 16 yards last night to 6 yards tonight.
Coming up after the break, we'll see if I can get one of these bears to stick around a minute.
ScentBlocker Most Wanted has been brought to you by IQ, center the dot for the perfect shot. Block, history's toughest target. And Glendale, the biggest and toughest 3D targets in the universe. ScentBlocker Most Wanted has been brought to you by Winchester Rifles and Shotguns. Trust your hunt to a Winchester. Mission Archery. Ford and your quality Ford dealers. The Redemption Muzzleloader from LHR Sporting Arms, made for a lifetime, not for a season. And Gilbreth's Taxidermy, the official taxidermist of ScentBlocker Most Wanted.
It's nothing like a photo finish here. I am on day 3 of my Atikokan, Ontario bear hunt. The last 2 nights we've had really close encounters, but with the warmer weather, it seems like the bears have just been moving a little bit later than normal. So we're hoping that we can get it done tonight. I fly out bright and early in the morning, so we better get started.
had already drawn back on this bear once, and right when I thought I had a shot, down the hill he went. So now that he's standing right in front of me, Josh leaned back to reassure me it's just a target. It's just a target. Please turn. Oh, no, shut. He won't turn. Now, I had to wait. I had to wait for that front leg to move forward. Was that okay, Bob? Was that okay?
Just down the hill. You go up to the top.
I can't believe he just rolled down the hill just right there. Oh my gosh. My last night in Canoe, Ontario, I like literally as soon as we get in from here, like have to pack my bags and go to the airport. Like I have such an early flight. I didn't think it was finally gonna happen. That is the same bear that was in here the first night. Bob nicknames all of his big bucks. So I want to nickname this bear, and I'm gonna call him my honeygram bear, because he has the prettiest, just honey yellow brown muzzle. Oh my gosh, I could not be happier. Well, I could be happier when Bob takes me over there to go get him. So
I guarantee you, that bear is right here somewhere. Look at this. There is blood sprayed all over through here.
no. Bob, you jerk. I hate you sometimes.
You might want to keep that for a souvenir.
Bob's like, oh, I don't know where your bear went. It's like hiding, hiding in plain sight. Look at that. Is that from him hitting on the way down?
You know, one thing I have to tell you, for months we've been talking to her, she's been calling. I said, you've been shooting every day, 20 yards, 25 and 30. And that's what it takes. You got, I can guarantee you, I don't care how good a shot you are, when the moment of truth comes, most of that goes right out the door, and you got to use instincts. And you did good.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Bob got upset at me, sort of, for passing on a smaller bear last night. But
Hey, you had 3 nights to hunt. Remember?
But this is ScentBlocker Most Wanted. And Bob had been showing me trail cam pic after trail cam pic of this bear right here. And so, yeah, I got a little stingy. This is the one I wanted. But gosh, dirty, he's on the ground now. Bud and Jeremy Dixon of Canoe Canada Outfitters have been a great friend of Bob and Larry for years. I was so fortunate to get to come up here this year, and Bob has been amazing. He has put up with me for the last 3 nights hunting in the blind. Larry's been busy fixing my bow because I broke it yesterday. So I just cannot believe that this is how my trip ended. Oh, so excited. Oh my gosh, this is a bear I was after. Here, I'm gonna do like Larry. Larry was always beating on the bear as he was talking. Oh my gosh. After we got back from Africa, we got my new jewel in from Matthews, and I had shot lots of targets with it, but this is my first animal with my new jewel, and I guess it must be a good sign, some good mojo. That must mean there's more to come this fall.